Hello and welcome to episode 42 of the Back to Football podcast. That is the number one podcast for people who probably should talk about something other than football. Now, we're coming at you live on YouTube for the first time ever. Well, we did briefly come at you live for about 5 seconds before the show today when I was testing out the live features of YouTube. But we seem to be up and running now. Some of you may be listening to us on Spotify and iTunes. I just got the feed of the YouTube live in my ear there. So as Greg, as you said, this is going to go down in one of those compilations of failed live attempts on YouTube. Joining me today are my three wonderful co-hosts. As you can already see here, we have got Greg Hollands joining us. How are you, Greg?
Dan, yeah, good to be here. Excited.
Yep. Saturday morning show. Saturday morning does very much feel like the right place to be for a football show. Even if we are in lockdown and there's no football necessarily going on. We've also got at Johnny Mills, John Miller joining us. How are you, John?
Yeah, I'm all right, Dan. A little bit worse for wear, but bank holiday drinking. But yeah, I'm all right. I hope everyone else is doing well.
Yeah, we'll ask you some more about that in a second because how and why are you so hungover at the moment on a Saturday morning when we can't go out? And joining us also is Levi and Beer. Levi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Dan. And I'm hoping that everyone's doing really well on the 47th day of lockdown.
That's it. Well, yeah, wow, 47 days. Talking of then dates and times and lengths of time, we're 1 year old as a podcast now. Our first podcast, I think, was broadcast on the 6th of May 2019. The only reason that me and John tend to memorize that is that it was the day that Archie was born, Harry and Meghan's baby boy. So obviously happy first birthday to him, but more importantly, as a nation, we say happy birthday to the Back to Football podcast. Particularly important day. There were some street parties yesterday for the show. We appreciate that. Everyone came out singing when we'll meet again in the street. And, we are humbled by, that level of support. Thoughts, boys, on people turning out in the streets, having these street parties. Obviously, they were for VE Day, the 75th anniversary of victory in Europe, the eventual end of World War II. Social distancing still a thing, and I guess question here is going to go to John Miller. Should people be gathering in the street right now?
I mean, in this country, we love an excuse for a party, don't we? But I guess, it does definitely go against the guidelines at the moment, the social distancing guidelines. And that does seem to be a recurring theme at the moment where certain groups of people or whatever are kind of going against that. They don't need a specific day to do that. They're just going out to the park still and, not really listening. I think everyone's got a right to celebrate, and sort of remembrance, pay the respects for that day and, get the bunting out and stuff. But street parties where you're not observing the social distancing rules, I definitely don't agree with.
Greg, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree. I've been biking a lot more this week along the coast of where I live, and you'd think it's business as usual, really. I would have expected to just been biking, no problem, but I'm weaving in and out of people, avoiding dogs, children, cars overtaking me. It's worrying, really.
And then I guess final point on this, Levi, the man of reason. If I'm honest, I just think in this country we
will basically make excuses for whatever we see fit. And I just think the VE Day celebration was almost justification for people to break it, because it was a display of being patriotic and loving this country and everything it's about. But in reality, if it was a normal day, then people would be fuming that that was even a thing. Because in all honesty, that was a glorified street party. I've never seen so many people celebrate VE Day in my life. Everyone was doing it. Everyone. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure some of the people had to probably Google what VE Day was on the day. So if I'm honest, I think, VE Day could have been celebrated in a different way. I think everyone should have just chilled inside. And then, we will end up meeting again, but not if everyone's outside mingling together, like sharing sandwiches and punting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been very impressive to see what the celebrations were going to be. You know, if coronavirus wasn't a thing and if people weren't on lockdown, I think we would have had these really grand celebrations outside Buckingham Palace, all across London, all across the UK. And I think it is very difficult to kind of meet in the middle of those two ideals. So like everyone on lockdown plus basically everyone out in the street together enjoying something. I think it was probably the best of both worlds that kind of happened yesterday. And hopefully in 2 weeks' time, we don't see a big spike in coronavirus cases or deaths as a result of going out to celebrate VE Day. Have you boys been going out on your doorstep and clapping every Thursday?
Oh, yeah.
I have. But I just think it's a very small gesture in comparison to the work they do. And if it makes at least like one person feel appreciated, then I think that's a good thing. But I think it is just that a very small gesture.
Yeah. I just hope it. People don't. Once everything sort of calms down a bit and we go back to a sense of normality, whatever that looks like. I just hope people don't just go back to normal and just completely forget about them. It's quite easy to kind of do these gestures without any real serious thought about it. But I just hope what's going to happen. Are we still going to be clapping, in a years from now every week? Probably not. So I just hope people still, keep paying respects to those in the NHS, and if that's by way of donating to particular charities or whatever, then that'd be great. I think they'd appreciate that more than the clap, but I'm sure they did appreciate it. But
I mean, I think not to get too political, but I think the elephant in the room is that actually we do all donate to the NHS every month through our taxes, and hopefully maybe that's something that's looked at in terms of the amount of funding that is put towards the NHS. It's clear that it is such an essential service. When shit hits the fan, it is the thing that will save people in this nation. And I think that's also important not to forget, actually, that we do put money towards the NHS, and it should be we should be able to access that money. And I think I think people should still donate to charities, NHS charities, and people should still raise money, and we should definitely all appreciate the work that they do. But I do think I hope that people don't forget that actually the way the funding system works is actually we do pay a lot of our money into this service. I'd love to be able to see them actually access that money properly.
Just a quick point on my part, as you said, obviously, Dan, not to try and get too political. If there's not a review after this period we get through this of NHS workers' pay, then I think all this clapping and all of that is just in vain, because they are quite literally risking their lives with like very little equipment to make sure that the rest of the nation's keeping safe. So obviously for now, clapping is all well and good, but when this is over, when it is actually a time to sit down and say, okay, that this service has now been put in a spotlight, and we realise how vital it is to pretty much the continuity of our country, there's got to be a review of some sort, 100%.
A quick thought is, I wonder what percentage of the people that were out in the street parties yesterday observed the clap. I reckon probably quite a few of them. So it's a bit a bit ironic and maybe a bit hypocritical that, you know, they're observing this clap and they might even look down on people that don't. But then within the next 24 hours, they're out on the streets, you know, breaking rules and putting themselves at risk and putting more pressure on potentially putting more pressure on the NHS in the long term.
Just think the worst thing I saw was the social distancing conga line. That wound me up so much.
Yes. Yeah, so we will see where that goes. I mean, we're anticipating an update tomorrow on lockdown from Boris Johnson and maybe phase. Is it phase 3 or is it phase 2? I'm not sure what phase we're on. But there certainly, I think, will be a plan laid out, and we'll start to see maybe where things will start to go back to, as you say, normal. What is normal? I don't know. And I'm not sure whether what we thought was normal before will ever go, you know, back to being that way. I certainly think there will be a lot of people in society that are just generally more cautious of social spaces and social interaction and big gatherings, and then there'll be the other people that don't care about it. But I don't know, will we see more of a divided society after there was that big issue that kind of divided us all about a year ago, or for the previous 5 years before that? I think we might see another one kind of similar to that coming along. Let's talk about football, as we are a football podcast, and yeah, obviously we do try not to be overly political here on the BTF podcast. If you are enjoying, by the way, this live broadcast, or if you're watching it on catch up, so to speak, which is just YouTube, then please do give us a like and hit subscribe below. But yeah, football is coming back. The Bundesliga will be kicking off in just about 7 days' time to conclude their season. And the first big game there is a 2:30 p.m. kickoff between Dortmund and Schalke. Levi, are there any quick shout outs you want to give to any Schalke players?
I will be watching with a keen eye. Obviously, my cousin plays for Schalke, but I will be watching. Just hoping that he does well and gets back to scoring goals and playing well. But I will definitely be keeping a close eye on that match.
Yeah, I've got the Bundesliga table here, and there is very much still a title race to play for. Bayern Munich are 4 points clear at the top of the table, and Dortmund are in second place there. So I think there's still a title to be won. I mean, even if you go down to fifth place in the Bundesliga is only 8 points behind first place. So I think if you're looking at their season, maybe versus the Premier League season, completely different in terms of how it's looking for a title race. I know that first place is not the only place that matters in these leagues, but do you think it's the right thing to do to get football back on the menu? Greg?
I think for the financial side of it, of course, it does need to come back for those lower leagues that, you know, they run their maintenance on those season tickets and getting people through the gates. But I just worry that the culture of the football fan is, you know, we're all desperate for football to get back, and any football fan is, and the people that go every week, you know, they will go. You know how it is when you score a goal, everyone's up, you're hugging, drinks fly everywhere. It is a high risk environment for anything like this, and you know, we've got to consider that aspect. The Bundesliga is being very strict. I think that obviously it's behind closed doors, and they are deducting points from teams of which the fans come and congregate outside the stadium. So I think that is really good of them, because fans will care if they're losing points for their team. But I don't know, it remains to be seen, really. It's a cautious move. Yeah.
Cautious time.
There we go, cautious time. I wrote myself into an alley there. I didn't know how to row back.
Yeah. No, I think there's definitely a lot of caution, and very much the German league here is the guinea pig, or the trailblazers maybe in resuming football, and I do hope that it is the right thing to do, and that it provides entertainment for people at home. I think they're certainly going to have probably record numbers of people watching the Bundesliga next weekend. I certainly will try and tune in for the Dortmund Schalke game. But I don't know. Does it mean that is the Premier League on the horizon? Is that going to return, John?
I think it's slightly different here. I think there's been way more deaths here, hasn't there? I think we're in the 30,000s, and I think in Germany it's like 7,000. Dan Statman, correct me if I've got that completely wrong, but I think that's part of the reason why I think in Germany they're more keen to do that. I think it definitely hit them far less than it hit us over here in the UK. So I think, I'm just looking on Sky Sports and stuff, like there's still quite a few players that are, like very fearful. And it needs to be unanimous. It needs to be like we're all doing this as one. Like if say for example Man City, half of their squad are like, nah, I'm not really feeling it, and then the other half are like, yeah, I want to go start playing again, then it's going to become really difficult, especially if that affects things that really matter, like relegation, top four. Like if it needs to be unanimous. Really, and I'm not sure we're there yet, but they are. It seems like they are keenly watching what the Bundesliga does, probably over the next few weeks, and then they'll make a decision from there. But I think we're a little bit away from it starting.
I agree. Statman there, 7,500 deaths in Germany versus 30 or 31,240 in the UK. So, yeah, we've had 4 times the amount of deaths. And obviously, German population is a little bit bigger than the UK. So, just different ball game probably. Or it's football. It's the same ball game in both countries, but different ballpark maybe.
Different stadium.
But, we got Wembley versus the Allianz. But yeah, I think Liverpool are probably the club with maybe the most interest in finishing the season here. Levi, are you hoping that football comes back in the UK?
I'm hoping it comes back, but so long as it's again safe to do so. At the end of the day, quite as much as everyone wants football to come back, there are people at the end of the day, so they carry the same risks as everyone else going to work. Coming into contact with a large group of people is obviously challenging and worrying at this time. But if there is measures that can be put in place to make sure that everyone's safe, of course, I want this to be done, because I feel like it's easier to delay a start to a season as opposed to stopping a season midway, because there's just so many questions, so many almost unfinished business that it just poses loads of challenges for clubs, and also it's quite difficult for fans as well, especially if your team are probably 3 to 4 games away from winning the Premier League, which is something that Greg probably won't be able to say for a long time.
Greg, is that true?
Good one. Asterix, mate. Asterix. Asterix.
Has anyone mocked that up yet? Like as a meme, like the Liverpool crest with, where they had the gold stars above it usually to put
I'm
like
not,
the
but
asterisk.
I will get on that as soon as we stop recording.
Like how many gold stars have they got? A couple. I don't know if they have them on their logo or not.
Well, we don't have it on for Premier League, because obviously this will be our first Premier League title. But it will be it's not going to be pretty if we get awarded the title, because I think probably if that happens, I'll probably have to deactivate social media for a little while, because I think it'll be too much to take, and I won't be able to actually enjoy the fact that we all have a trophy to put in our museum.
Yeah, did you see BBC awarded Premier League Player of the Season this week to Jordan Henderson? Do you think that was a deserved award? People were saying Kevin De Bruyne was probably the other guy that maybe should have got it. John, your reaction there suggests that I should probably come to you first on this one.
Levi's already shaking his head. I mean, yeah, I think it's too early. I wasn't even shaking my head about the decision. I mean, if they're gonna restart it, then let's wait before they start announcing golden boots and players of the seasons and whatever else. Like, if they're not, if they're like, right, that's it, season's over, it's a 29-game season or whatever, then we can start dishing out awards. But that's just my thought on it. Not necessarily that it went to Henderson per se, but still, yeah, I can think of a couple of other deserving players.
Yeah. Did we see also Bruno Fernandes made it to the Premier League Team of the Season, having played only 5 games. Played 5 games in the Premier League, obviously from January until things shut down at the start of March. So that as well seems like a pretty sort of odd decision. Maybe one made on the basis of, Man United are an institution of the Premier League, and there's probably not many Man United players that sort of earned their place on that list this year. Fernandes, by all means, surely if he played a 38-game season, was probably going to be a shoo-in for that Premier League Team of the Season. But giving it to someone after playing 5 games, that's not even, what did we play? It was 30 games. My maths off the top of my head, I'm saying that's about 12%, something like that, of the someone quickly do 5 divided by 29 and see what you're going to get as a calculation. Greg, I'll leave that to you, maths guy.
Well, while someone is doing that, I have got a head-to-head of Henderson and De Bruyne in terms of statistics. So Henderson 25 appearances and De Bruyne 26. In those 26, De Bruyne scored 8 goals and got 16 assists, whereas Henderson got 3 goals and 5 assists in 25 appearances. 8 clean sheets for Henderson, with 5 for De Bruyne. De Bruyne getting 2 yellow cards and Henderson getting 2, neither of getting red cards. So I think statistically, you have to look at De Bruyne as the more prolific.
They're going to work. It's 17%. So
okay,
quite a way off. Yeah, that's an F.
Look, again, I'm gonna have to wait on this Jordan Henderson debate because I don't want to hear it. Jordan saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna wait and award it after 38 games." That's rubbish. Like, we're not gonna wait because 9 games doesn't change the whole season, in my opinion. Like, 9 games weren't going to change the fact that Liverpool. I'm gonna go and say it. Liverpool are gonna be crowned champions. Yeah, we're gonna wait 9 games just to find out we're gonna be crowned champions to not name Jordan Henderson as one of the players that was not only instrumental in winning our first title in, God knows how long. Yeah, I'm not even going to quote it and give you guys the satisfaction of enjoying that quote. And what's more is Jordan Henderson has been not only instrumental in winning us the Premier League title, but he was also instrumental in winning us the Champions League last season. So I think it's about time that someone actually gave him the credit that he deserves, being recognised as one of those sorts of players. I think he'll soon. If Liverpool continue this dominance over the Premier League, he'll soon be looked at in the same esteem, not exactly the same esteem, but he'll start getting close to, some of the midfielding greats that we've had in the Premier League. Not on the same quality level, but being held in terms of captaincy and being able to lead a team. I think he's there. He's definitely been able to not fill Steven Gerrard's shoes, but he's been a good prodigy. Good second place.
Okay, you finished? No,
sorry, did no one else mute Levi then?
Yeah, I've got a profanity filter on. No, I rate Henderson. We've talked about him before on the show, and yeah, look, he's a brilliant player. Does a young kid watching look to Jordan Henderson and think, wow, like does he have that X factor? I'm not saying that he wouldn't be a brilliant model pro for a young kid to be watching, but surely you look towards, I think Kevin De Bruyne is a much more interesting player to watch than Jordan Henderson is. So I don't know. I think Kevin De Bruyne is a better person to be leading the line for the Premier League in terms of awards. So I'll give it to him on this occasion, and then probably Bruno Fernandes second, and then maybe Henderson third. So yeah, that's
bloopers. John's frozen, which is perfect because he was laughing at.
I thought that was just his face, but I thought he was just waiting to say something like.
No, laughing at me talking about Henderson, but I think his X factor is his work rate. So
yeah,
he runs from minute number 1 to minute number 94. And the rest, he won't stop. So that's his X factor, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll let you have that. I think then going on naturally here from great players and legends, so to speak. I'll switch over here to Speak of You so that we're not stitching up John with that frozen image too much. But yeah, we are going to play a quick game, which we are going to rank Premier League all-time strikers. We're going to be putting them into different categories. John is going to try and rejoin the call here by the looks of it. Let's have a look. I'll put him in the waiting room and we'll see what happens. So yeah, I'm going to share.
Put him in the gulag.
Yeah, John's in gulag trying to make it back. I'll admit him back in and we'll see what happens. But I better not share my WhatsApp thing there. Here we go. So I will share Google Chrome. Can everyone see this?
Yep.
Yep. So we've got Premier League all-time strikers. And the tiers here are GOAT, legend, very good, decent, and overrated. We'll fill this in. We'll put the players. I mean, we don't have any ability to put any extra players in here, but we'll put the players given to us here in, and then we'll pop this on Twitter after the show and see what happens. But yeah, hopefully we can get John back in the chat. Yeah, that was our what was that with him? But yeah, we'll get John back in the chat. If you can. I think we should get on with this. In the meantime, I'm just going to come out of that a second and see if John is waiting in the waiting room for us.
He'll be 2 minutes.
Okay. All right. Let's get on with this then. Start share again. Premier League all time. Right. So in first off, we got Alan Shearer. What are we thinking for Shearer?
Go.
So you're putting him
agree with that.
He quite literally is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Premier League top scorer for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So are we having one GOAT?
Put him in GOAT provisionally to start off with, and then if
right.
he gets dropped, then
okay. Andy Cole.
I'll drop him in a very good.
A very good player. Okay.
I think he's very good. I just don't know if he quite. I don't know. He was in that Man United team, obviously, that were doing really well, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right. We'll put him in there. Very good. Obviously, a treble winner. Scored a lot of Premier League goals. But yeah, we'll keep him in there. Dennis Bergkamp. Obviously, John's not here to fight.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad John's not here.
Are you going to put him in overrated? For me, he's there. Is he better or worse than Andy Cole?
This is going to be hard. It's going to be hard. He's definitely between the very good.
Let's put him in very good. Let's put him in very good at the moment. Didier Drogba.
Oh, legend. Premier League legend.
Yeah, I feel like, but then I feel like if Drogba's in the legend bit, then Bergkamp has to be in the legend bit as well. I'm not. As much as I slate him on the show, and I have done, I don't think I can put him in the very good category.
Okay, all right. We'll keep Dennis Bergkamp there then in legend for now. Diego Costa, for me, it's got to be one of these two.
Yeah, overrated.
Probably overrated. Yeah,
we'd never have heard of him if it wasn't for his attitude problem.
True. There's probably players just as good that don't get sent off as much. Carlos Tevez is in one of these two for me.
I'd say very good.
I'd say decent.
Yep. You'd say decent.
I'd say decent.
We'll put him in decent. John's rejoining, by the way. Here he is.
He's gonna kick off. That Bergkamp isn't up there.
Hey, what's going on?
Right, John, can you see this? We're putting the players into the different categories.
I can. It's a bit small, but just zoom in a bit. That's a bit better.
I'll just zoom in.
Whoa.
All right. Okay. So we got Dennis Bergkamp at the moment in the legend category. Alan Shearer's up there as in the GOAT thing, and we're only going to have one player in there. Shearer's in there at the moment. That may change, but yeah, we're working our way through the list. Next up, we've got Dimitar Berbatov. For me, he's definitely not overrated.
Very good.
All right, Spurs fan speaks. Dion Dublin, originally a centre back.
I'm gonna stay out of this.
Homes under the hammer.
You can stay out of this.
Is that?
If we're talking Tevez? Homes under the hammer, that's where it is. Homes under the hammer. He is the GOAT. But on this,
he's decent. He's decent.
Yeah, he's decent. Okay, all right, we'll agree with that. Dwight York.
I'd put him in a very good category as well.
I agree.
Okay, he can chill down Van de Cole.
That's the Man United category at the moment. We've got a dog in the chat as well. Emmanuel Adebayor.
You can literally fucking bottom tier, overrated.
I don't know. I think he's a good goal scorer. He's a bastard, but he's a good goal scorer.
Where's he going to go then?
I think he's overrated. He's just one of them that showed up for a couple of seasons.
He's decent.
I'm going to agree with Levi. I was just thinking about his time at Arsenal, and there was a season where I think he got like 25 goals, and I think during that season we looked like we were on course to maybe win it. And I think that's when Eduardo got his leg broken, and he'd actually had a run of bad form, and that's why he was out of the team. And then when he had to go back into the team, he didn't score a single goal until the title we were already out of it, and then he scored like 6 goals in like the last 3 games. So when we really needed him, a year where Arsenal's team was on fire, he didn't do the business. I think he's in the overrated category.
And he has to be overrated if one of his biggest career moves was a loan move to Real Madrid. Anyone that gets excited for like he went on loan.
Yeah,
so
he did.
Yeah,
he's overrated. He's just overrated.
I think he scores when he wants. I think he's a decent player.
Okay, I'm going to say here then for Eric Cantona, I'm putting him in a legend category because I think that he started something at Man United with Ferguson, and he is quite literally a legend.
He's a legend for that drop kick alone at Palace.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely.
Before we move on, obviously my internet dropped out, and I can see that you've got Diego Costa in the overrated. Was that a unanimous decision?
Yeah.
Really?
Fight for him. Fight to move him up to decent.
I think he was a very, very decent player for Chelsea. Scored against most of the top teams. Hard to defend against. He's not overrated. He's better than Adebayor. Definitely better than Dion Dublin as a striker.
So
that is true.
Are you arguing that we swapped Dion Dublin and Diego Costa?
Yeah. I am, but I don't know what anyone else is saying.
The problem is, so basically the overrated is that everyone thought he was amazing, but he really wasn't. Therefore, he is overrated. That's my argument.
We'll leave him in place at the moment, and then we can come back to it at the end if we think there's any move around. And depending on how many, we might find that Dion Dublin goes down and Costa stays down as well, or he goes up and Dion Dublin stays in decent. Doesn't have to be a 1-in, 1-out policy at the moment, but we'll carry on with the list and see how many. We'll try and make it even in these categories, and obviously we'll let only one player stay in the GOAT category. So we got Fernando Torres, who you can't deny that he was probably very good when he was at Liverpool. Obviously, when he went to Chelsea, you'd put him in that overrated category, but I think Fernando Torres is either very good or decent.
I go very good. I grew up with a lot of Liverpool fans, and he was a hero to them. I think very good.
I agree. I agree, Greg. Don't worry.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've seen him play live. He's a quality player.
He was amazing to watch. At his peak at Liverpool. So yeah, I just don't think he can go into the legend category. Obviously, Gianfranco Zola. Now this is a man that we're probably arguing between the legend and very good category. Anyone arguing for decent or overrated on Zola?
I'm gonna have to hand this one over probably to yourself, Dan, and John. I probably think
even I'm too young for this.
Play that much.
He's a legend. He's definitely a Chelsea legend. I've had numerous arguments with Chelsea supporters about Bergkamp v Zola, so I'm kind of happy to have him in the legend category along with Bergkamp.
Okay, right. Let's pop him in there then. In the legend category.
That says a lot. That says a lot.
Yeah. Harry Kane.
Legend. Moving on.
I don't want to hear that. Legend.
I think he's there.
He scores when he wants. World Cup top goal scorer. Golden Boot. World Cup. Golden Boot.
That one where he should have squared it to Sterling. That still annoys me every time I see it.
Consistency. Every season, everyone has always said, but he won't. One season, one day, he won't do it next season. What does he do? He does it the next. Oh no, he won't do it next season. Does it the next. Legend.
It's fine, Greg.
Legend.
I'll give you that because you do only have him at the moment. He is your entire team.
Yeah. So what are we going to go? Legend?
No.
Yep.
I'll give him that. Harry Kane's a very good player, but he's not a legend yet.
Okay. Ian Wright.
Oh, he's a legend.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I don't think legend.
His goal record at Arsenal was unbelievable.
Okay, all right.
I'd say very good. But I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, he was. I know this is Premier League, but Ian Wright at an international level didn't do that much. Am I right?
Yeah, but that's not his fault.
You could say that for Rooney. For Rooney.
What, you could say not his fault, do much at international level, the most capped England player of all time.
Yeah, but he was pretty awful the last couple of World Cups.
Yeah, you made
Ian Wright never got
poor
picked.
Choice there with that as an example.
Ian Wright never got picked when he was like, top goal scorer and stuff. I think there might have been a little bit of politics back in those days. I mean, there was a lot of people that got picked in the team that didn't have a good a season as Ian Wright did, like Sheringham and stuff like that. Taking Sheringham and Shearer when he probably could have gone Ian Wright and Shearer or something like that. So I think that's not really his fault. Back in the days, you had to do a lot to get into the England squad. It's not like now.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We'll put him in the legend category, but as I said, we'll try and even these out. So there might be a few of those legends dropping out eventually. Jamie Vardy. Again, I think he's probably somewhere between very good and decent, but I think we got to drop him in decent.
Yeah.
Based on numbers. He's definitely not overrated. He's underrated, if anything. But I think, is he better than Carlos Tevez?
Nah.
No. All right. Jermaine Defoe. This is a guy that he's legendary in terms of how many goals he's scored, how many clubs he's played for, how consistent he's been for such a long period of time.
Legend. There we go.
Unfortunately, I put him in a decent category.
I'll get a grip.
I put him in a decent category.
500 appearances.
Appearances doesn't mean everything. I could appear 500 times and score 20 goals. That doesn't mean anything.
162 goals, 33 assists.
Is Jermaine Defoe on the same level as Fernando Torres?
No.
Come on.
No, he's not. He's not. I don't even think that's the question. Is Jermaine Defoe on the same level as Harry Kane? No. Is Jermaine Defoe on the same level as
he's
Andy
better
Cole or
than
Dimitar Berbatov? No, he's not.
He's better than decent. That's a disrespect to Jermaine.
Well, if there was an in-between category, maybe you'd make that. But he's definitely not up there.
Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
What a player.
Brilliant player.
I'd put him up in very good.
Okay.
Agree.
Right. Hasselbank's in there. Kevin Phillips.
Oh, the king.
King Kev. How's he going better than decent?
Decent.
I don't think he is. But his goal scoring record is mad. He played till he was like 39, 40. And
scored the winning penalty for Palace.
Yep. If you're a Palace fan, in extra time, I was in the stadium that day as well. Extra time penalty from Kevin Phillips sent you up, and Palace haven't come down since. So he's had his career highlights, he's had his moments.
Golden Boot winner.
Yep. All right, we'll put him in decent because I think, at the end of the day, all the players on this are still in their all-time Premier League strikers. So I think being decent on that scale is not an insult, so to speak. Next up, we've got Les Ferdinand. I remember Les Ferdinand from when I was a lot younger, and we used to play. Do you remember the Scum newspaper that a lot of people hate? Ran the Dream Team, which was like the original fantasy football, basically for most people. I remember back in the day having Les Ferdinand as one of my strikers in the Dream Team, and he was a pretty reliable source of points back then. I think he's probably more early years Premier League. Hard for me to say whether he's, very good, decent. Definitely not a legend. I would probably go decent.
I'd agree with decent. I'll take decent, yeah.
Okay.
I'm very interested in this one.
Yes,
I'll
Luis
out.
Suarez. Right, for me, Luis Suarez is as good as any of those players in that legend category. If we're looking at it on a basis of are they a Premier League legend, then he's probably only down in decent because he never won the Premier League. He was good, but he wasn't here for a long time. What was he here for? 3-4 years?
I'd like to say 3. Yeah, 3-4.
So based on that, so if he's splitting legend and decent, I think he's got to be in the very good category.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually paining me.
But you know what? I'm Suarez's biggest fan. I think the guy is one of the best players to play the game. Like if in a world where Messi and Ronaldo didn't get up to the heights that they were, Suarez would have been Ballon d'Or winner several years, and probably had he not bitten people and been racist and
that's what I mean.
All these terrible things that also go with it. As a footballer, as a skill and probably mentally one of the best players that I've ever seen. Like where he's just ahead of the game. I think he's incredible. But and have you seen his goal record? Even at Barcelona is absolutely insane. I think he's fourth or fifth on their all-time top goal scorers list, and he's only been there like 4 or 5 years. He's an insane player, so I'm going for very good on this one. I know, Levi, you would put him in the legend category, but he's not.
Dan has spoken.
Mark Hughes, again.
This is too much of a throwback for me.
Big throwback.
Decent.
Yeah, we might have to just pop him in decent there. Mark Viduka.
This is probably one of my earliest memories of football. I'll put him between decent and very good.
Oh,
I'd go for the overrated category, but he's not overrated because I don't think he's that rated. But that's the only other category you could really put him.
Yeah,
he's not on the level of any of those strikers that are in the decent category, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
by the looks of it, to Leeds fans, he'd be a legend. But
yeah,
I think
that Leeds team was so exciting back in the day. When it was like Mark Viduka, Harry Kewell, Lucas Radaby. You had
John Hart.
Who else? Yeah, Ian Hart.
Ian Hart. Sorry, that's it.
Yeah. Paul Robinson, I think, was he the goalie there? I'm not sure, but obviously Rio Ferdinand also in that team before he joined Man United. I think the fact that Viduka on this list is kind of just like happy to be there, and I think the fact that he's even on this list is a credit to him. But I think he's probably going to have to drop. Do you know what? I'm going to put him in decent because I think overrated is probably an insult. Overrated for me suggests that they shouldn't be on this list. And then decent is like they should be on the list, but they're at the bottom of the list. Overrated is they shouldn't be on the list.
Okay.
John's shaking his head.
I think overrated for me thinks that people thought way more of him than what he actually was.
All right. Greg, weighed in. Is he there?
Oh, this is before my time.
Okay, he's an Australian player that played for Leeds. All right, Michael Owen. Let's talk about Michael Owen.
I'd put him again. Nah.
That's because he played for Man United as a Liverpool fan.
I can't do.
What, you think he's there?
Yeah, I'll probably put him there just because I think his injuries really let him down to be able to achieve that legend status. I think you have to be able to do it consistently and to be able to stay, fit and healthy to be able to compete at the highest level. And I just don't think he had that. And I think that really let him down. He's obviously a brilliant player, scored loads of goals and done it really young. I think to do that legend status, you just have to be able to perform at the peak level for a while.
Okay, I agree.
I've met Michael Owen. I'll throw that one out there.
Yeah, how was that?
Yeah, it's pretty good. He's solid.
Yeah, tell him to stop commentating on football matches because he's rubbish.
I'm not mates with him. I just met him.
Yeah, text him now, please. All right, Nicola Anelka.
It's a tough one, that, because he got his Arsenal spell. He's a double winner at Arsenal. Went to Real Madrid. I can't really remember how well or not well he did there. Came back to Chelsea. Done all right at Chelsea, but not great.
Very good, John. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Very good. Okay. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Overrated. He's so overrated. I don't care because
John?
I don't think
I agree.
Like, if he was as good as what everyone makes him out to seem like, oh yeah, babyface assassin, I don't want to hear that. Like, if he was really that good, why was he not starting matches?
Yeah, it's true. If he was that good, he should have been starting. But
yeah, but the guy's a glorified bench warmer.
Yeah, I think he was probably a great squad player. I think he never really took massive wages at United, which made him again a team-friendly player. I think he's a Man United legend, but yeah, in terms of these Premier League legends, I think he probably is overrated. I would agree with that. Robbie Fowler.
I won't even talk too much. I'll just allow everyone else to make this decision for me. Whoa. Not with his goal scoring record. He can't even be in that category. He's in the same category as Kevin Phillips. You've got to change that. You've got to change that.
So is Robbie Fowler going there?
He has to. With his goal scoring record, especially for his Liverpool goal scoring record, he just has to.
Yeah, in the Australian A-League, he was pretty good. So, yeah, all right. I think very good is fine. I think a full season or a full career rather in the Premier League, and he could have probably crept into that category, but yeah, I think very good is a fair thing, especially as Michael Owen's in that category as well. I certainly don't think he should be any lower than Michael Owen. I'm sure a few of our Liverpool supporting podcast fans would argue that he goes higher than that. But yeah, very good, I think, is a fair assessment for Robbie Fowler. Robbie Keane, Greg, feelings?
I think he's very, very good. He was a little bit just before I started watching football, to be fair. But I think that he's a brilliant player. I think that he's very good at the least.
Yeah. Is he as good as Berbatov, Torres, Harry Kane, Luis Suarez?
See, I'm taking it as individually rating them, really.
Yeah,
I'm not looking at who's there.
Technically, he is, ability-wise.
We'll put him in very good for now, but as I said, we want this to be pretty even at the end, so we're actually going to have to start losing. If you want to put anyone in the very good category, you're either going to have to move other players up to legend or very good players down to decent.
All right, let's move Harry Kane up. There we go.
Nah. If we're doing that, I just think we should drop Robbie Keane down to decent.
Let's finish it first. Let's finish it.
All right. Robin van Persie.
Legend.
Oh, legend.
Very good.
Yeah.
Is he? Yeah. I think we drop him into legend. I think he was very, very good for a long, long time. So, and he's retired as well. It does help with the legend status. Romelu Lukaku. Decent. Yeah.
Yeah. At this stage, I'll say decent.
Okay. We got Ruud van Nistelrooy, which for me,
I'd say legend.
I would go legend. Yeah.
I've got to do that. My dad is a Man United fan. He would not be happy if I put him any lower.
Sergio Aguero.
Legend.
Is he?
Legend. I think there's not enough.
Certainly
not
very.
I'd put him in legend, I think, as well.
Yeah, I do. I would, yeah.
Yeah.
But what he does,
not enough respect
Man City,
on his name.
He's been there a long time now. I think we probably realise, and he worked wonders for them. So
he'll go down as a legend anyway, just for the goal and that piece of commentary. But I mean, yeah, he's insane goal scoring record for them consistently over such a long period of time as well. So yeah, legend is right. Teddy Sheringham. Where we ranking Teddy?
Big player. But
I would argue that Sheringham was more deserving of very good than maybe a couple of these players.
Agreed.
Is Sheringham better than Robbie Keane?
Yes.
He doesn't have a better celebration. Robbie Keane's celebration's up there, and we're talking celebrations, then maybe that's happening. But yeah, is Robbie Keane decent and Sheringham very good, or are they both decent?
I think it depends on how you're saying decent. If you're saying, oh yeah, he's just decent, or if you, oh yeah, Robbie Keane is decent, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's put these last two in, and then we'll revisit.
For me, the last two don't need discussing. Just drop them in where you should drop them.
Yeah.
This is where I'm gonna struggle. I think
they both are legends. In my opinion.
We're trying to. I just
goats.
I don't know. I just think maybe it's because when I grew up and I don't know what I think of it, but I think Thierry Henry, just as a player standing there, he's got to be one of the GOATs. He just has to be.
Wasn't there a vote recently, and he won it, of like the greatest Premier League player of all time?
Yeah, so I mean, at this point, out of if we're going to agree that there's only one GOAT, seeing as greatest is superlative or definitive or whatever the meaning of that word is, but there can only be one GOAT. Who from this legends category even challenges for that? So we got Henry, Shearer. Is there any other player that you could have in that top category?
I don't think so.
So then
now
we've
got spent too much time at the pub and chatting to
Getting knocked out by Phil Bardsley.
And talking to a lot of women.
Yeah.
So
how is your gran?
I'm gonna have to put Shearer in the legend category and keep on ready to go.
Yeah.
Even though Henry can't perform on the big stage on a big night, I will still.
Boy, I don't know, but running through the whole of Real Madrid's team and scoring at the Bernabeu sounds like a big night to me. But I don't know.
Yeah, but still,
might be.
But he went missing at the Nou Camp, or he went missing in the final.
Wow, man! When the goalie gets sent off, it's a bit difficult. Player down. Change the system.
I can't call it.
I would go on Reed just because he won more. I think if Shearer would have maybe gone to United when United wanted him in '96, and United had still won the things that they won with Shearer, then no doubt in my mind I would have put Shearer in there. But I think he was comfortable at Newcastle. He stayed there, and he did score a lot of goals. Obviously, a lot more Premier League goals than Henry did, but he just didn't win anything. And I just don't know why, whether it was just comfortable or whether he just wasn't brave enough to go to United. I don't know, but I just think he didn't test himself at a bigger club, and to see him on Champions League nights, to see what he would have done, might have maybe swayed it for me differently if he'd have performed, say, like against Real Madrid away or Barcelona away or something. But we just never got to see it.
Okay. I've just noticed we've not got any Arsenal players lower than legend at the moment, which is, Adebayor obviously played for Arsenal, but he's in a Spurs kit here. And there are no Liverpool players higher than very good. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's the timing. I think it's the timing of when those players were playing. So you look at the era of when those players were playing, Liverpool weren't that hot.
All right.
I think if it was now, it would be different. Like if in 30 years' time we were looking at it over the players that are playing now, then I think it would swap. I think all the Arsenal players, you're not going to put
will be overrated.
Lacazette. Yeah, you're not going to put Lacazette and all those guys will probably be in the decent / very good. Aubameyang, Lacazette, but like not in the era of where those players are. Liverpool were doing nothing. They had like Milan Baros, and it wasn't a good time for them.
Morientes. So you got Levi.
I said Morientes.
Oh yeah, Fernando Morientes. What a player. I think. Is there anyone that you would argue doesn't belong in that Legends category? Who's the weakest player in that Legends category?
Ian Wright.
Yeah. Oh. And then was Ian Wright better than Luis Suarez or Harry Kane?
I don't want to hear Kane in the Legend category. I don't know why. That makes me feel ill. He's not ready yet. He's not ready.
I think Ian Wright done it for a longer period. Your argument was that Luis Suarez, we're talking about Premier League,
Yeah.
He had 3 seasons and whatever, and then bit someone's ear off or whatever, and then disappeared. Ian Wright, he had that longevity in the Premier League, I think.
Okay. All right. So is there anyone else that you'd like to move around in this, or are we going to lock it in? Are we happy with Adebayor, Costa, Viduka, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer staying down there in the overrated category, or is there anyone that you want to swap them with? Is Dion Dublin staying decent?
Nah, I don't think Dion Dublin doesn't stay decent. I don't even think Lukaku stays in decent.
I don't think Costa stays there either. I think Costa was definitely better than Kevin Phillips.
But yeah, Lukaku's overrated. Because why I say that, is because he's had a chance at Chelsea. He done well at Everton. He had his chance at Man United, and he had his chance. He's having his chance at Inter Milan. So I'd argue that he's doing all right at Inter Milan, and he did well at Everton. However, from how he's being touted, from what people were saying about him, I just don't think you can say, oh yeah, he's like the player that everyone thought he was going to be when he came to the Premier League. I just don't think he's really like achieved those brackets. And then he's gone to Italy. He didn't really hit the heights that he was meant to in the Prem, and now he's gone to Italy. So for me, he's overrated.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. All right. We'll keep it at this. We'll let people on Instagram and Twitter decide whether we were right or wrong. We'll lock this in. We'll put Dion Dublin and Romelu Lukaku down there in the overrated category. I will be saving and downloading that. I'm just going to come back out of the screen share and back into our Zoom chat here. If you are watching on YouTube, as ever, please do hit subscribe below. And obviously, thanks to all our Spotify and iTunes listeners for tuning in every week, especially this week, which is our first birthday 1 year of podcasting. Not too shabby. I think we will leave it there for this week and conclude the show. Boys, have you got any big plans for today, Saturday?
Recovery.
Might jazz up my daily walk.
Yeah. Where are you going to go? Richmond Park?
Richmond Park. Go see the deer.
All right. You might need some close protection with you. You've just announced that to the world on YouTube.
Quarter paps.
Yeah. Mr. Paparazzi, that guy. He'll be down there hiding in a bush. Greg, any big plans?
No, not particularly. I might go for a bike ride later on because it's so sunny. But I've got essays and deadlines that I need to be cracking on with, really.
Fair play. Yes. Not to be envied.
I'll be sitting in the garden. What about you, Dan? You never said your plans, mate.
That's all right. It's all right. Doesn't matter. I'll probably go for a bit of a stroll. We're thinking of having a barbecue today because the weather's so good.
Same.
We've got a disposable barbecue that needs using, but I've got like a proper barbecue, but a bit more of an effort to fire that up. So yeah, we might do a bit of a barbecue, but that might require a trip to Sainsbury's local to buy a few burgers and stuff. So I have to weigh up the odds of whether that's essential or not. One thing I have found is whenever I go to, like you got to avoid touching your face and if you touch things and stuff, every time I go in any sort of shop at the moment, my face is just itchy beyond measure. Like I just drawn and I have to walk around like dying inside because I just want to touch my face. But yeah, so maybe I won't have a barbecue. We'll see. We'll update you on that next week. But yeah, that's been episode 42 of the BTF podcast, the number one podcast for people who probably should talk about football. Boys, I will see you all next week. Hopefully next Saturday we'll be back, same time, same place, and I look forward to it. So everyone have a good week.